So this is why I take it once in a while. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just show people what one of the cool things that we built and some of the things that we're advancing and some of the techniques I've been discovering on how just to do SEO and rank better and faster and just scale things faster. So that's kind of the topic of today. What prompted me to start it was actually some guy who said, okay, he used another tool, I don't know, algorithm or whatever, and he didn't get any results. And he's like, what do I do now? And I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you need to do now. So let's start actually. So I think it's a good time. All right. So look, okay, I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna close the chat. So if most people coming here already know me, my name is Eric Lancheres, and I'm gonna show you cool SEO things. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. And my objective here is to help you avoid time wastes or help you avoid wasting money when you're doing SEO and help you avoid doing things that don't make a difference when you're doing SEO. Because that's actually one of my biggest pet peeves is I don't mind putting into work. I don't mind spending hours. I don't mind investing to get results in SEO. But what I don't want and what really aches me is whenever I do things that give no results. And that is what I'm trying to solve here. And that is what I want people to just take it away from this is like everything that you do from here on out will get results. You will grow. You will, you're going to grow your site. You're going to grow your customer sites. You're going to get better results. This is what it's all about. So if you don't know where I come from, just my quick background story, I guess. I load up my Facebook page and I went back through pictures, but I used to be a full-time affiliate marketer. I used to do affiliate marketing nonstop. I used to have what is it, over 50 websites. And one day, I don't know if I have a screenshot, but they got hit by Panda. So this was over a decade ago, or almost a decade ago. They all got hit by Panda. And I had to lay off all my workers. I went through a really, really bad time where I was affected by a Google algorithm update and it completely crushed me. So if anyone has any stuff like experienced traffic loss, I know where you're coming from. I feel you and I sympathize with you. And then what I did is I basically started testing. I started working on it nonstop and learning about the algorithm. And I spent a year recovering a site. And then I finally recovered a site, and then I recovered another site, and I started helping and teaching people how to recover sites. And that's when I got invited to conferences all over the place, and I was featured speaker. Many conferences. I was featured all over. Was it Traffic Conversion, SEO Rockstars, Affiliate Internet Marketing Party, so forth. Anyways, it was a great experience. And since then I've been teaching and researching SEO. So I run traffic research, and we have hundreds of members. And I've just been researching, literally breaking down core updates and just publishing things and just basically advancing SEO as much as I can just to do SEO better. And at one point started using tools, and I started using like optimizing tools, which I thought were pretty good. They gave good results, but I was really frustrated with some of the suggestions that they gave. So sometimes, I don't know if you've ever used any other tool, but you're going to get these bogus or weird suggestions like, oh, you have to add like 42 H2 subheadlines to your content. And I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. That's completely crazy. Or something like, oh, you have to add, they'll give you suggestions. You'll use an on-page optimizer to give you suggestions like, oh, you have to add 60 images. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And the reason they're doing that is because they would scan the entire page instead of focusing on the main content like Google does. Because when Google looks at a page, let's say I'll load up this page right here. When Google looks at a page and they're trying to figure out, should I rank this content or not? They're going to look at the headline. They're going to look at the main content, the images and all that. But what they won't look at, or what Google puts aside, is things like the advertisement, things like your directory, images on the side, right-hand side, and so forth. Google doesn't pay attention to that. So what we did is I designed from the ground up a main content algorithm that OnPage uses to provide more accurate suggestions. So what we do is we focus on that main content exactly like Google does, while a whole bunch of other people are giving you like suggestions based on the advertisement that's on the right-hand side, or in the footer or the header or whatever. So that's kind of like one of the reasons I decided to start OnPage, and we started to provide what I feel is more accurate suggestions. And then we tested it, and we got better results. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this whole thing. And if you're not familiar with what On-Page tool is, I'm actually going to dive into more advanced On-Page tool stuff that I've discovered very recently. And I think it's gonna be really cool for if people were on the first webinar, you're gonna get stuff out of this. But just for the new people that are joining and might not even know what On-Page is, On-Page is an on-page optimization tool. So what you do, I have an example right here, but let me just clear it. What you do is you put any keyword you want to rank for. So you put it here. So let's say I type in things to talk about with your girlfriend, things to talk about with your girlfriend. And if you want, you just click submit. It'll give you a report. It'll tell you the words that you want to have on that page to maximize your chances of ranking. But the cool thing is you could actually put a compare page. So let me put the compare page here, things to talk about with girlfriend here. And what it'll do is it'll compare this page with the recommendations for this keyword, and it'll tell you how relevant you are, if you are the most relevant term on Google. And what we do for this is we actually use Google's own natural language processing tool. So we pay Google every time there's a search that's done, and we give you the results. So we're paying Google to get the results, and then we're just providing those results to you. And what we do is we have a relevance score. So the relevance score is how relevant your page is in comparison to the other pages. So here we have yours. So we could see that the relevance score here is lower than the rank number 1, then rank number 2, and rank number 3. So what we would want to do is we'd want to increase our relevance score. So Google believes that our page is more relevant for the term that we're trying to rank for. And now this is lining up perfectly where the page number 1 has the most relevance, page number 2 has the most relevance, 3, and so forth. It doesn't always line up like this, but it is pretty crazy when it does. It really does mean that this page is more relevant for the term than these 2 other pages. So how do you optimize and how do you increase your relevance score? Well, Google's AI, basically what they do is they look at the entire document and they say, okay, well, what is this document about? And then try to classify the document. Now, one of the things that they look at is going to be words that are called entities, and those will point Google's AI in the right direction. It'll help them understand what the content is about. So here, the word recommendations, we tell you exactly which words will increase your relevance for this term. So for instance, on this article right here, we are not mentioning the word romance. And it's a things to talk about with your girlfriend, and we're not mentioning the word romance. So that should be a word that should appear on the page to give us more relevance. And of course, the more words we add, the ones that are in red are missing, the more our score will go up, more and up and up and up. And what you want to do if you want to rank as high as possible on Google with the least amount of backlinks is you want your relevance score to be higher than the number 1. So that's usually I just do it just a bit more than the number 1 spot, and that will give me the best results. Now, we go further. So that's one of the things that people use all the time, and it just provides great results. But we also have the keyword variations, related words, and so forth. But what's really interesting as well is we look at the page classification. So we pull out the top 5 ranking pages on Google, and we use Google. Google also has a categorization API, and basically that uses their own. This is their own Google category. So Google put out a whole list of categories in which their AI classifies documents. So it will tell you what the top 5 pages are ranking in, and in this example, it's in people and society and family and relationships, and then we'll tell you what your page is ranking in. So you better be sure that if the top 5 results are all in this category, you also want to be in this category. So this is how the AI basically breaks down and figures out what category the page is in. And if you're not in the category, something that's completely unique to us, if we've been building up our database, we'll tell you how to get into that category. We tell you the words that you could add to the page to get into this category. So this is kind of one of the, like, for instance, the word partner right here would help you get into people and society and family relationships. It makes sense. So this is another thing that the On-Page will do. And I'm just going over really quickly for the people that are new. Actually, we have a whole bunch of people that have probably been using this for a while and probably know all this. And the last thing that we have is going to be linking with relevance recommendations. So I developed an algorithm that that finds the most relevant pages to have internal links from. So these are going to be the pages you want to get internal links from, pointing to your target page if you want to rank as high as possible. So within like 30 seconds, you could go from optimizing, from having a page that's not optimized and know exactly what you need to do to optimize it. So you want to make sure you're in the right category. So if there's like 4 of these that are in people in society and you're in something else, then you got to optimize for that. Now, let me show you another example, like something really quick. I'm going to open up my history here. And I have one, what is it? Ergonomic gaming headsets for glasses. And if I'm going too quick, I'll answer questions and all that. Hopefully people could kind of follow here. So here, if I want to rank for ergonomic gaming headset for glasses, kind of like an affiliate term, gaming headsets, and I have my compare page, and let me just show you. This is the compare page that we're looking for. Let's say we want to optimize this. We want to rank higher on Google for this. What do? Well, go here. And here I could see that my page is really low on relevance. So it's not doing well at all. And then I could basically I could go here and I could add words like battery life. Like if it's a headset, ergonomic gaming headset, probably talking about battery life, price, headphones, audio, all these key terms that are missing from my category. And then I could scroll down and I could see the page classification. Once again, same thing. Except here, it's not in people of society. We're in computer electronics, consumer electronics, and audio equipment. So it really goes, sometimes it's quite detailed. Google's like, look, this is a gaming headset. We want you to be in the ideal category, audio equipment. And here we could see when I'm scrolling down, this is our page. And right away, I could spot an issue. So hopefully you guys could spot the issue as well. All the pages that are currently ranking at the top of Google are all in the audio equipment category. We, on this page, is only in consumer and electronics, but it is not in audio and equipment. It's not as precise. So we're broadly there, but we're not exactly there, meaning that Google's just like, okay, well, you're not the best page for this term. So what would we do to be able to get into the audio equipment category? Well, we have, fortunately, the tool will tell you all the words that you could add to the page in order to get into the audio category as well. So this is kind of like the power where not only, I think every single other tool in the industry, or almost every single other tool, or as far as I know, they might help you optimize on kind of like the word level. And even then, they don't do such a good job. As I mentioned, the reason I created this is because we use the main content as opposed to the whole page. But we also help you optimize on a category level, which is going to take you to that next level. So we're optimizing on 2 different levels. And if you want to rank as high as possible on Google, this is kind of what you want to follow. Okay, so what do you do from here? Well, let's say you've optimized the page. You have a great page. You've put all the words. Now your relevance is high. What's the next step? Well, first of all, you need to give Google a bit of time just to kind of analyze your changes and realize what's been updated. And then usually people just see great results right away. But the next thing that I typically do is going to be links. So one of the cool things with On-Page is that when you know the ideal category that you want to be in, so computer electronics, consumer electronics, and audio equipment, what you really want to do is you want to get links from pages that are within this same category. So let me just kind of open this up right here. I had a few examples. Let's say if you land in here, whoops, let me make this bigger. Then you want links from pages in this category. And that will give you the best possible ranking benefits. So these are going to be your most powerful and most desirable links. And if possible, from domains that are in this category. So not only are we trying to get a page that's in this category linking to us, but also in a domain from a website that's also in this category. So now Google will say, oh, wow, so your backlinks are your page is optimized as well as possible. We're also getting links that from highly related page according to Google. So not just us guessing what kind of links are coming in, but according to Google. So now here, let me show you one of our features, link relevancy. And this is kind of where it all stems from, where I've been working to recover penalties and help people for over a decade. And this was one of my first ideas. I really wanted to examine how relevant your links were. So one of the things that you could do is you could put in your domain here. So if I could put in clutchkills.com. Actually, I have a special example. So amazing home decor. We're going to use this one. So amazing. seeing, actually, it's right here. So let me show you how this works. Let's say you have a penalty on a website and you're just not ranking and you want it, you're like, is it my links or what am I doing? So what you do is you put your domain here and then you start putting in the backlinks. So you start, usually I'll do an export and I'll just copy paste all the backlinks at one time. But here, just to show you how it's done, you basically put in the backlinks here. And what it does is it will go out and see how relevant all of these links are. So you put all the links that you could do, and what you could do is you could do from Google Search Console. You could use SEMrush. You could use Ahrefs, and you put in all the backlinks. Usually, I put in the do follow backlinks for the domain, and then you click submit, and it'll run a scan, and it'll tell you how related your links are, and what Google really thinks about your backlinks. So let me load this scan right here that I just did. Link relevancy, this one. And what we did is this website was affected, right? So when I look at the backlinks, I get a link relevancy report. I can see if the backlinks have a page level relevance and if they have domain level relevance. And the best links obviously are going to be the ones that are highly related. So this is amazing home decor. It's a home cleaning site, home decor site. And look here, this is a link from a professional cleaning service website. And it's about a design. So it has a 1 out of 1 on a match on domain level and a 2 out of 3 out of match on the page level, which means that this is a good link. Now, what blew my mind, and this is where this was kind of like a game changer, is we were monitoring the backlinks, monitoring performance, and it received a DR90 plus do follow link. So it got a backlink from Search Engine Journal here, do follow, DR90, and you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Traffic didn't change. Rankings didn't change. And it blew my mind because I'm like, look, for the past whatever amount of years, I've been following or learning that, I got to follow DR or TF, depending on what you're using. And if you're getting a DR90 backlink, it's of course going to do something, right? But no, the fact that it was on a completely irrelevant domain and the fact there was a completely irrelevant page match, Google saw the link and said, okay, well, we're just not going to reward this link. And that's why when we actually got this link, which is kind of like I think this is close to a $40 link right here, on dailyvanity.sg/beauty tips ingrown hair removal. This was a 2 out of 2 match, a 2 out of 3 match, and this link actually increased rankings, and this link actually increased traffic. And that blew me away. DR90 do follow link doesn't do anything, but this one does. So that's why from here on out, I was like, I am only getting relevant links. This is while everyone else is overpaying for, and I've gotten links from places like Forbes and all over the place. And I've gone through and I've bought the $800 and the $1,000 links in the past. So if anyone else has done that, I feel you. And if you didn't get the results that you were hoping for, I also feel you. And this is kind of where I'm coming from, where I'm like, I don't want people to do stuff that doesn't give the results. That's the worst thing, the worst feeling in the world. So with this, you could actually get results because now we could get links that are highly relevant, not just guessing, but according to Google. Because remember, we're running all of this, all these checks, they're going through Google's own algorithm. They're going through Google's own AI right now to give us the category report and to give us the page level report. So this is Google telling us that these are relevant backlinks. And by the way, one advanced tip, if there's any marketers in the house or advanced SEOs, if you want to build tier 2 links and you're like, okay, I want to just power up what's already good, run a report like this, link relevancy report on any client website or any website that you're already, that you want to rank higher on. Find the really good links. And what you could do is let's do page match, just find the good ones, find the good ones. These are your golden ones, the ones that match on a page level and on a domain level. And then these links right here are your golden links. And if you build tier 2 links to them and you make these links more powerful, then your website will benefit even more. So that's kind of like that's going to be one of my quick ranking tricks that gives me really good results. All right, so I'm actually going to dive into showing you how to get super cheap links that are highly relevant. And I'm going to show you a brand new feature, the brief and outline tool, and all these crazy things if you want to scale hundreds of backlinks. And anyways, it is a lot to look up, but I do want to take 1 second pause just to see if we have any questions where we're at on this. Okay, cool. So let me go. All right. So one of the questions, it says, okay, categorization doesn't necessarily appear for one of the sections, one of the regions I'm in. Switzerland, yes. Categorization right now is English. While the languages supported, we have a whole bunch of languages supported for OnPage, the main tool. For categorization, because we're using Google, and Google, unfortunately, Google's categorization is only in English right now. It's going to be English. However, I do kind of have a hack for that. So what I do for the hack is I use Google Translate. So what I'll do is I will take the categorization in English, and then I will use Google Translate to figure out what is going to be in whatever language I want. So like this is kind of like my hack to do it in German, to do it in Spanish, do whatever I want. I essentially just translate it back into English. And using Google Translate, I will get the closest approximation of what Google thinks for categorization. Anyways, but in terms of the on-page, the supported languages, we have a whole bunch of supported languages and regions. Let me go. We have a whole bunch of regions and languages and all that. Yeah, so let me just move on to the other questions. Recommendations for tier 2 type links. What are the best category of links? That is, you know what? I used to do a whole bunch of tier 2 links. Like I used to use, like I send a whole bunch of spam, like not spam, but like lower quality tier 2 links. And recently I found the best tier 2 links I could send. Usually I try to send 1 or 2 guest posts, and that's it. Because what I've noticed in terms of links, what I've noticed in terms of links is that one link is infinitely I can't even say higher than 0 links. So when I'm doing tier 2 backlinking, I used to do like 100 links, and now I only do 1 or 2. I'll do 1 or 2 links, and usually they'll be like cheap guest posts. It'll be like a $20, $30, $40 guest post, and that'll be the cheapest thing that I send to it. And this seems to give the best results. And on top of that, of course, as you could imagine, if I'm in link relevancy and I'm trying to build, let's say I'm trying to build a link and I'm building it to a home decor site, then I'm going to try to get a tier 2 link in a home decor site as well. So I'm getting even my tier 2 links are going to be relevant. So when Google looks at everything, they're like, oh my God, this is a clean website. This is backlinks that we want to reward. This is what I want. So this is like the new way of link building. And what's crazy, and I'm actually going to show you, let me show you this. I'm going to show you a guest post list, like because there's brokers, like guest post brokers, and they sell hundreds, and they have access to all these places. And you sometimes you're going to get links, and I'm going to try to make this bigger so you guys could see. Let me zoom in a bit more. But sometimes you'll get $900 links. But if you're not in finance, you don't want to get this link. You're better off getting, like the $70 link or the $60 link, whatever. If you're in lifestyle, then you're better off getting this $60 link than this $900 link, because this will give you a better bang for your buck. But the categories that they were written here are all bullshit. Unfortunately, they're not using Google categories. This is just people subjectively trying to guess what category it's in. And 99% of the times they're wrong. That's actually one of the biggest things that we're going to be talking about, where when people are guessing or people are trying to figure out what category it is, it doesn't always align with what the artificial intelligence thinks the category is in. Artificial intelligence will determine different categories in humans. And that's why using the actual artificial intelligence, using Google's artificial intelligence to tell us what Google thinks is so powerful. So I'm going to go over a few more questions. We got ones. Yeah. Guess my DDR. Okay. Okay. Oh, here's a good question. What are the brackets in next to the words? Okay, cool. Let me go back to here just so we're really quick. So one of the things that people have noticed, I'm actually I'm working on, I'm kind of changing this. We have a number here. So 10, 9, 8, and so forth. And this is kind of like the level of importance. It's not the amount of times you want to add it to the page. This is the level of importance. So number 10s are going to be more important than, let's say, by the way, we have a whole bunch of words and suggestions that you could add to rank, like a whole bunch. But let's say we go into twos. So twos are less important than tens. So if you're trying to rank for gaming headset, you probably want to use the word gaming headset and glasses, right? And you will ears as well. And that's going to be more important than something like cable length, which is the number 2. So that's really going to be the importance that you're going to be focusing on. And one thing that always keeps on coming up, and I think people have been using other optimization tools kind of get wrong, is when Google's trying to rank a page, it doesn't necessarily, it looks at the entire page and it determines the relevance on the entire page. So what I mean by that is artificial intelligence, the way it works, and I've been working in this for a very long time, it looks at the entire document to determine what the document is about and what it should rank for. It won't look at one single H2 and say, oh, you're not using the word battery in this H2, so you're not going to rank. So all the tools that are giving you a suggestion saying you must use this word in an H2 or this word in an H3 or so forth, it's complete bullshit. It is misleading at best, and I could easily give you the data. I have the data, but I purposely don't give the data here because it ends up making worse documents than if you didn't specifically use those words, because you could use any of the recommended words within subheadlines and it'll increase your relevance for that document. So what I recommend people do is when they're optimizing a document, I recommend the first thing you want to do, add the first 4 rows of words. These are usually going to be the most powerful, the most important ones. And I like to sprinkle these into subheadlines. So for instance, I could have a subheadline that says glassware wearers, and I could have another subheadline that says, how is sound quality? So that could be another thing. And those are going to be my H2s, where I'm using the top words within my H2s, and that will improve my entire page's relevance. It's not by using one single thing like feature in an H2 that's going to increase your entire document's rankings. So that's a kind of side tangent right here. It's really when Google looks at a document and their AI, it's looking at the entire document. All right. So one of the things that Sherman mentions, you want to combine a whole bunch of these entities, recommended words within your subheadlines. Now, that's going to be, I have more advanced things where I go into detail into content optimization, but there's so much cool stuff I want to show you guys that let's just kind of move on and show you the new cool stuff. So what do you do when you have, let's see. Okay, cool. Link relevancy. And you're like, okay, cool. I want to get more links within the, let's say, home and garden, or I don't know, we were doing audio. Let's say we want to build links to this page. Let's say we want to rank ergonomic gaming headsets for glasses, what to look for, right? This is our main target page. We want to rank this as high as possible. Well, the first thing we're going to do, as I mentioned, we go to On-Page tool and we look up what we're missing. So we ergonomic gaming, we put our keyword here, we put our URL here. We're lacking in relevance. Then in terms of word recommendations, we want to add a whole bunch of words. And what you want to do is you want to pay attention to this top category. This top category is going to be really important when we're going to be doing a link building. And as I covered before, we're going to want to have links that are coming from pages in audio equipment and also on domains that are in audio equipment. And the way you could do that is we developed a tool to basically predict the category of domain you're going to get it from and category of guest post you're going to get it from. So let's say I'm writing an article. Let me take another article here. Let's say I'm writing, this is a completely different article. And let's say this is my guest post. Let me take this here. I know it's the same kind of, this is just another article on the same site, but let's say I wanted to write a guest post and I wanted to make sure that this guest post lands in the audio category before I post it. What you could do is you could actually use one of our features called predictive guest posts here. You paste it in and you put in basically your whole guest post in here, and then you click submit. And what it's going to do, it's going to pass this report, this document in through Google's categorization algorithm, and it's going to return and tell us in advance, this lands in audio equipment. So here, let's say I had a link back to my page in in this document, in this guest post here, it would be in the right category. It would be in audio equipment, and this would make sure that at least on the page level, we have the right category. So what you could do is, and if you're not in the right category, then of course you could go and you could modify it, and you could do, you could play around with it till you land in the right category. But what's more difficult or more challenging whenever people are trying to build links is not usually getting the page right. It is actually getting the domain right. So what we have is predictive link building. And this is really, really, really cool. And this will save you, if you run an SEO agency, this will save you thousands of dollars. Like, I'm not even kidding. We have Dan. I think Dan's actually on this call. And he's telling me he's saving thousands of dollars every month because he's not overpaying for links. He's getting less links, but more powerful and more related for his clients, and he's paying less for them. So what you do with predictive link building is you essentially could either do outreach, or what a lot of people do, especially agencies, they build up lists, or they use link brokers, and they get huge backlink lists like this. There's a huge backlink list. There's like, what am I? I have 7,000 links right here. And what you could do is then you take all the domains that you could get links from, and you kind of copy paste, and then you just paste them in to predictive link building. So you just paste in a whole bunch of domains. You're like, okay, cool. I could get links from these domains. I'm not sure to remove this one. But you're like, okay, cool. I could get a link from all these domains, and then you just click submit, and it'll run the scan for you, and it'll tell you which category of links these domains land in. So let me show you an example. And I'm not going to do it right now because it takes a few minutes because we got to scan every single domain. But I just ran this one, and I basically copy pasted a whole bunch of domains. Let me just show you right here, oogram and so forth. And I copy pasted a whole bunch of domains here that are available for guest posts. So all these domains are available for guest posts. And now here's where the magic happens. It'll tell you the domain of the categories. It'll tell you the categories of every single domain. This is a Google category of this domain. What Google classifies this domain in which category, basically. So before, what we wanted to do is we wanted links. If we're going back, we wanted links from computers and electronics. So this is essentially the category, the ideal category I want. So what I could do is I could put it in my compare, and I could type in computers and electronics, just select it right here. And now this is where the beauty happens. It'll tell me which domains are a match. So this one is a match. And I scroll through, I get 0 out of 0 for most of them, but then I get to pick out the really good websites that are highly related to my site, to my target. So here, Cero Maga. I don't know what this domain name means, but I do know that it is highly related to my target link. So if I wanted a guest post, this would be the ideal website to get it from. So I could go here, and I could go back in my guest post list, and I could just, I should be able to find it somewhere. Do I have it in here? I think I have it somewhere. Okay, I don't have it. I don't have it. Well, I might just, there you go. I should have it somewhere. Okay, I'm using a different guest post list because I'm sure at one point I had this. Like, you essentially go out and paste all the links, and then you want to basically, this website out of everything, it actually lands in consumer electronics. That's crazy. And this one as well, consumer electronics and so forth. And you could pick out the best domains that land in the category that is related to whatever you want to rank for. And these are going to be the best links. And now something like, I really like food, is completely irrelevant. So even though they might have a high DR, they might have a whole bunch of traffic, they might have a whole bunch of stuff, you don't want to get it from this website. You want to get it from the highly related sites to whatever target you are trying to rank for. So once again, I go back and I make sure I figure out what's going to be my ideal target. And here we can see that every single one is in consumer electronics, audio equipment. So therefore, my links, I want them to be in that category as well. So whenever I'm going, and you can just click on anything, by the way, you can just go here. And if I just click on computers and electronics, it'll highlight every single one that's in that category. If you have a client, and your client is in arts and entertainment, right? When it just says, okay, this, then you just click on this arts and entertainment, and it'll automatically show you every single website that is a match in arts and entertainment. And that's why whenever we're shopping and essentially trying to figure out which links we're getting these days, we're getting the most effective ones, and we're paying a lot less than everyone else. So we're not looking at the price and saying, oh, this one's more powerful, whatever. We're looking at how related it is to the main site. So the next, this is an advanced tip. So if you've been on one of my first Zoom calls, this is kind of an advanced tip, is what we've noticed is that some of these categories will change over time with a domain. If you've been doing a whole bunch of link building, you'll know that some of these websites are actually not as high quality as other websites. And the highest quality domains that I've found, and this is really, this is from doing a lot of it, are going to be the websites that are more focused on one single category or a select few categories. So for instance, this category, this website right here, filmlifestyle.com, they all fall into arts and entertainment. This is going to be a very high quality website in arts and entertainment. So this is going to be your dream link if you want to get stuff from arts and entertainment. However, if I scroll down, let me try to find one right here. Okay, cool. Health Soul. This is actually, okay, this is not bad because you have 4 in health, but it's the ones that are all over the place. Okay, this is save the video. We have arts and entertainment, we have computer electronics, we have games, we have hobby leisures, and we have science. This is going to be a less desirable site. It's still better than not having anything related at all, but this is going to be a less desirable site as opposed to something like this one, saving advice. It's all in finance. Absolutely everything is in finance. So you do the best links, if you want to drive down one level even deeper, are going to be the ones that are, whenever you're scrolling through this, that have a high concentration in one category and are not all over the place. So for instance, here we go. This is actually a really good one where, look, this almost everything is in food and drink, food and drink, food and drink, food and drink, food and drink. This is an excellent website. If you're looking for anything in food and drink, this is an excellent website as opposed to something like this. Okay, this is probably a website that accepts everything because they have business and industrial, food and drink, hobbies, home and garden, pet, everything. It's just all over the place. So these are okay if you have your related category, but these they're not as good as the highly related ones. So that's kind of like the next level of link building. If you want to really spend the least amount of money, get the best, absolute best results, this is what you want to kind of target and focus on. And it's just going to take everything to the next level. I'm like laughing because it's, I think once people realize how powerful, how crazy this is, the link pricing landscape is going to change entirely. Because right now people are pricing things all over the place. They're like, oh, DR 60, and you could fake DR. That's the craziest thing. You can just fake metrics. Metrics are, I still pay attention to metrics. Like there is still some value. I'm not saying to throw everything away, but if it's related and you get good metrics, then that's good. But if it's not related, then like I mentioned, our DR90 link didn't do anything. So you're basically throwing money out the window. And now I'm actually going to take a few questions and then I'm going to show you how I scale hundreds of links at a time. And I basically take everything to the next level. Like if you're running an agency or you want to just absolutely take your project to the next level, I'm going to share that with you in just a second. I want to make sure everyone's on board. We got all the questions. The chat. Okay, good. We get yes. Does extension matter? WebCA pointing to .com. If you can, I prefer to get the same extension if possible. However, as I mentioned in our example, we got an .sy link or something, like a weird extension, and that link actually did very well because it was related. So really, we're paying more attention to how related things are on a page level and a domain level. And that is what I feel Google's categorization engine is using. And remember, we're passing everything through Google's algorithm here. This is Google's AI telling us the results. So Google thinks it's related. Usually the thing is it makes you safer, in my opinion. If Google whenever Google's going after penalties and they're trying to crack down on stuff, they're looking for like a casino linking to like a casino site linking to CBD oil or something, or they're looking for like a mom and so whatever pop site linking to a business website, and they're like, oh, that's not related. So if what I feel that this keeps us much safer as well. So if you have clients and you want to sleep well at night, this is going to be it's just going to help you. So Dean asked, can we add the same guest post to a lot of different websites that are in a category you want? No, I don't use the same guest post. Every single post I make is going to be different. And this actually ties in so well into this next segment because this is how we basically scale the crap out of this. So there's two things I want to share that one I didn't get to share it last time, and that is going to be topical keyword. So one of the things that I've run into is we have writers, we have link builders, or you're using guest post services. I'm all for all of these. And one of the things you might want to do is if you need to put out a whole bunch of content, let's say you need 100 links in computers and electronics and audio equipment, right? You want 100 links right here, and you're going to be using a guest post service. So you're like, I just want to outsource this. How do I do it and still get a good result, right? This is how you basically outsource this and still get a good result. Use topical keyword search. So topical keyword search, what it does is it looks at the top rankings on Google for the keyword, and it'll tell you in advance what the ideal category is for that keyword. So for instance, let me load up, we wanted to rank for ergonomic gaming headset for glasses, right? So that was our main keyword. Let's say I want to have guest post articles. What I try to do here is I try to guess the ideas, or basically if I want 100 links in X category, then I come up with, I'm writing in caps so you guys can see, with 100 titles, keywords that land in that category. And I give them to my writers or guest post service. So I won't let the guest post service, or I won't let my writers come up with it by chance. I basically manufacture chance, and I make it predictable. So once again, you're not wasting time, you're not wasting money, you're getting the best results with the least amount of effort. I will come up with the titles, keywords in advance. So here, what you could do with topical keyword search, I'm going to put one keyword in. I'm going to put actually, let's say gaming headsets for gamers. I don't know, it's a horrible keyword, but look, let me put these in. And what the tool topical keyword search does is it goes on Google and it determines what category this keyword lands in. And the best thing is it'll give you a whole bunch of suggestions right here. So here, this is where it gets crazy, right? So let's say I want to have a guest post. If my guest post title or my guest post topic is ergonomic gaming headsets for glasses, it will land in audio equipment. This is the right category. This is the category I want. But I put in another keyword, gaming headsets for gamers, and then the predominant category was video games, right? Computer and video games. I know it is mentioned here as well, so it's not horrible, but the predominant category is actually in video games. So if you're writing a guest post and you're writing about gaming headsets for gamers, and you're like, well, this makes 100% sense, right? To a human, this makes sense. To a human, you're putting out guest posts on the topic of gaming headsets for gamers, and you're linking to ergonomic gaming headset, and you're like, well, this is a one-to-one. It must be the ideal guest post, but it's not. See, that's the crazy thing. So what you could do is with this list, you actually get a whole bunch of suggestions as well, is then you can start clicking on the suggestions, and we're going to start scanning and determining the category of these suggestions. So for instance, if I click on headphones with glass slots, right? So maybe you could have an article on headphones with glass slots. Maybe I write an article about wireless gaming headset. Maybe I write an article about, I don't know what else we could have here. Best gaming headset wireless. Let's go here. And every time you click, you get more suggestions as well, by the way, just like as hopefully you can see. And now what we're doing is we're getting a whole bunch of new keywords and new ideas, and we get to see what the dominant category is. So if this is amazing, by the way, let's check this out. So I just got a few. So just in a few seconds, I've been able to come up with articles for my writers, or even if I'm buying guest posts, I could just tell them to write about this. If I tell them to write about headphones with glass slots, right? This is a perfect keyword that I never would have thought of, but this will land in the audio equipment category. So I could just say, okay, cool. So guest post number one. So let me do this. So guest post number one, write about, make it bigger. Write about headphones with glass slots. So my title could be 7 best headphones with glass slots in 2022, right? That could be my guest post title. And if you give this guest post title to your writer, you have something like 85% chance that it's going to fall into this right category. So it's not as accurate as using predictive guest posts. So if I use predictive guest posts and I put in the actual text, this will tell you with 100% accuracy which category it will land in. So let's say, I'll just restore it. So let's say I have the exact text here. This will tell you the exact category. But this is the ideal way, but using topical keyword is going to be the mass link way, or just the quick way, where instead of, we're just assuming that they're going to write about their topic, and therefore we load the keywords. So let me just load this back up. So now I have a whole bunch of keywords, and therefore a potential guest post that could land in this ideal category. So what I could just keep on doing, I just keep on clicking on a whole bunch of stuff, like literally just keep on clicking on these. And every time you click, you get more suggestions that are related and so forth. And then the list will just grow and grow and grow. And you could basically pick out all the ideal keywords. So here's headphones with glass slots. This would actually be good too. Best wireless headsets for glass wearers. That could be another title. Here, wireless gaming headset Corsair is another thing that lands in audio equipment. And I'm just getting more and more and more of basically titles and keywords that would land in the ideal category. So what I would want to what I would want to avoid is I don't want to use the ones that are landing in games, and I would prefer the ones that are landing in audio equipment. And this is why there's no way of doing this as a human, because to us, these would all land in the same category. I'd be like, all right, well, I don't know, they're all about gaming headsets. It's close enough. But to an AI, it's a completely different category. To a machine, one of these articles lands in games and the other one lands in computers and electronics. How crazy is that? So that's why when I'm outsourcing or I'm scaling or I have my writers write stuff, I give them the title. I say, look, 7 best headphones with glasses in 2022. Here's the title, go. And when they write about this, I will be fairly sure that it will land in the right category. And if you're doing guest posts, let's say you're outsourcing, you're buying 100 guest posts, then you could just give them the titles that you for your guest posts. So most of the time, that's pretty much all you could do. You can't control much more. But if you give them the titles and you give them a whole bunch of related keywords, you have a much higher success chance of getting really relevant stuff. So that's kind of like the way. This tip alone should take your SEO to the next level. And now let me this is my favorite thing, because we actually just released this new thing. Let me show you what we just released. Actually, I have a whole more stuff. But we just released, we've been famous for our main on-page. A whole bunch of people are using predictive link building, predictive guest posts, but we just released today, brief and outline. So with this, within seconds, you could basically build an outline for your writers for basically any keyword. So let's say I type in headphones with glasses, right? We're gonna just go here. Actually, the one I really like doing is SEO checklist. If I do SEO checklist, what it will do is it'll scour all the top ranking results and it'll return all the questions on this topic. It's basically like a one-click research method. It'll return all the questions on this topic. It'll return all the stats on this topic. It'll return all the competitors, their headlines or subheadlines, their text, absolutely everything. Now, it does take a little while because we are scanning a whole bunch of stuff. However, when it does finish, we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff. Then we could basically create an outline and send that to our writers. So let me go through chat as it runs. Tommy asked, quick questions. Usually these cheap guest posts have very low organic traffic and rank for thousands of keywords because of shitty content. Do you mind? And that is a great question. Most of the time, I do want a bit of traffic on the websites. So if the website has absolutely no traffic, like it's not indexed or no traffic, then I won't use it. But if it has a bit of traffic, it means that Google doesn't hate the website. And if it has a bit of traffic, it is getting a bit of basically a bit of traffic, then that is perfectly fine with me, and I will use that. What else? Great tip, use the additional keywords in keyword classification in Target. Okay, hold up. Can I define a bit of traffic? Oh, yeah, sure. Traffic, I use Ahref. So I love Ahref traffic, right? So if I type in clutchkills.com, I typically I go overview, and I try to get something over like, organic search. And organic search, I look at this. This website is getting a bit of traffic, and it's perfectly fine. They're getting 200 or so in terms of traffic, and that's perfectly fine with me. As long as they're indexed and they're getting traffic, that's all that we need. In fact, some of the craziest stories, if you've been in any forum, some of the craziest stories are people that are taking older websites that are not getting any more traffic, and they're putting, but they have a lot of power, and then they're putting a whole bunch of new content on them, and they're doing really well. So traffic is good. It's like a good indicator that Google doesn't hate the site, but it's, as long as there's something, then we're good. So okay, take 5 minutes. I think the reason is because I'm using topical keyword here, and that it was doing a thing. Let me load. See if I could load a brief. Okay, cool. So let me show you what it looks when it's loaded, because we are running into deeper scan than I thought here. So when you have the content and brief, let me actually close this. So you put into SEO checklist or whatever keyword you want. It's going to give you the search landscape here. So it's going to show you every single page, or not every single page. It's going to show you the top pages that are ranking, and from here and all their subheadlines. So let's say I want to write an article about I want to basically create an outline on SEO checklist. I have on-page checklist. I can just add it here. I have, okay, I could even open this and I can see what they're talking about within. So here, use short URLs. I click here and it's basically showing me and adding it to our brief. And now I can basically go through the next article. And here they're saying, okay, set up Google Search Console. That's something I want to talk about. So I want to talk about Bing. I want to talk about Ahref as well. So here I'm creating basically an outline really quickly by looking at all the H2s, the H3s from my competitors. So here, fix broken pages. This is something else I want to include. So I'm just going to add it here. And then use short sentences. I want to mention this as well. And then what you could do, you basically go through and we have everything. So if ever you've used one of the techniques where you go through your competitors' subheadlines to see what you're missing on your page, this will do it within seconds. So if you're trying to create an outline for your writers, this is the absolute easiest way of doing it. And I know some competitors are charging a whole bunch of money to do this, and we're just giving it to you, like literally giving it to you. You could do all your articles. There's no limits. You just go here, and you could build as many briefs as you want, and it is just included in OnPage. So that's something that we're just giving away. People that have signed up that didn't have this yesterday now have this. This is a full-fledged thing. I think competitors are charging hundreds of dollars for this type of functionality, and we're just giving it to you. Here, also questions. We're pulling out all the Google questions that for your, let's say for your article. So let's say you're, okay, cool. I want to send my writer, but I want to make sure my writer writes about why a checklist is important. Here you go. What are the basic SEO tasks? That's another question I want him to cover. I want to talk about if as SEO, I don't know, how do I start SEO on my website? Here are, like I even have here a question, and I want to make sure that he writes this and is an H2 subheadline. And then I want him to answer all these bullet points, right? So these are all questions that he's going to answer. I even have all of Reddit. So we're putting Reddit questions, Google questions. People also ask questions, Quora questions. What is it? SEO checklist in 2020? Actually, this is outdated a bit, but whatever. I mean, I don't control Quora. But here, everything. So you got a whole bunch of questions. And then what's even cooler is we got stats. So stats, if you have, we get all the statistics that we're pulling out in your industry as well. So here, images here we go. This is perfect. Ensure your images have description, alt text, and file names. Images now make up nearly 23% of all web searches, apparently, according to Shopify. So here you have a quote as well. So if you want to basically improve your article and improve your whatever outline you're creating, this could basically give you a bird's eye view of the entire landscape. So what do you do with this, right? Once you've created the outline for your writer, if you want your writer to write within a few seconds, this is the coolest part. You click send to editor right here, and now your brief lands in our brand new content editor. And we've basically revamped this. I think we've gone from one of the worst editors to one of the best editors. This has been absolutely insane. So once you're here, you have brief, you have the brief that you just wrote, you have research, so they keep on doing research right here if they want to click and add anything. And then if you want to share it with one of your writers, you just click here, share link, and then you get basically you copy this, and a writer with that link could open the page and start editing. So let me just open up a private window. I'll put the link in, and they don't need to be logged in. So they could just start editing right away. They get your brief, they get everything. And if they save here, it will save on yours. And then you could just send all these links, all these share links to your writers, and they could just start writing for you, and with all the information, all the research, everything. So they get your brief, they get your research, they get whatever you want to write about. And here's the kicker. Here's the secret sauce on top of everything is we also have our optimize. So what you could do is you could select an optimization report that you've already ran. So if I go back here, let's say when I was writing about stuff, I already had a keyword report. So I had ergonomic, I had this keyword report. So if you want all these word recommendations to appear, and you want all the specific category words to appear as well, you could do that. So if I go back in content editor, and hopefully, I know I'm going a bit quick, but hopefully you guys can follow. If I go here and I go and optimize, I could load any single category, any single report, or I could just submit a brand new report and have it run from scratch. So let me just go here, select the keyword, and it's going to show you my optimizations. And I've already ran a report for SEO checklist. So I could just click this, and now it's going to land and it's going to add the optimization report here for basically, this is going to be all the recommended words. So all the recommended words we had on the other page, they're now here in SEO checklist, and even the category words are here as well. So and when you start writing, let's say I write things, more, SEO, tools, step, users, they start turning green. So as you write stuff, they will turn and change color. So the trick to getting rankings and visitors, and hopefully you can see as I write that, is basically turning green. And this is how your writers could create this ridiculous content for you. So you create the outline within seconds, you give them the research, you give them the link, and then they have the optimize, which is they could optimize it at the same time. So they're basically creating crazy content for you. And here's the kicker. We actually did a lot of work with this, and I wanted I've worked with writers from all around the world, and sometimes the grammar isn't perfect. So I wanted a spell checker and a grammar thing that worked really well. And so I found one. So let's say visitors, I write it like this or something. There's a mistake in visitors, and now I'm going to continue writing. And after a few moments, it's going to highlight it and say, hey, cool, we have 2 mistakes now. So you got this one and we have this one. So you click here, click visitors, it'll fix it for you. Click here, going, it'll fix it for you. Perfect. And this is also supported in multi-languages. You got a whole bunch of languages where we support. You could turn it off. You could do all this custom configuration as well. So I was looking for something that was close to Grammarly, but essentially integrated in here. So this is the best of absolutely all worlds. And I think this is, I don't know what, I think this is exactly what a lot of people need. And finally, you can, of course, export to HTML. You could copy the clipboard if you want to paste it right into WordPress. You could have a PDF export of it. You can do everything. So that is going to be on page. I'm going to answer a few questions. And if ever you're on the fence, if you're already an on-page member, that is great. If you're not an on-page member, whoops, I wrote the wrong friggin' URL. If you're not an on-page member, I highly recommend that you sign up right now. We have, the prices keep on increasing as we add more features. So right now we have the Guru plan, which gives you more. It basically combines a whole bunch of optimization tools. So if you're using I don't want to name any other names, but if you know, you're probably paying a whole bunch more for your other optimization tools, and they probably don't do half as good a job in terms of performance. We've actually compared them. So these prices, once again, as we add more features, they go up, and that's what I expect. So these are rock bottom prices right now, and I highly recommend, if you're on the fence, you want to save money, if you're running an agency and you want to save money on links, you want to get better results for your clients, On-Page is going to be able to help you do that. And also, as I mentioned, the prices, as we implement more features, as we develop more, the prices are going up. So hopefully, let me take a few questions. Hopefully you guys have gotten a lot of value out of this. And I don't usually do Zoom calls, or I don't really, I'm working on the product. I'm doing SEO day in, day out. And a lot of this stuff, I just don't get to share with people. So I'm really happy, and I thank you guys for being here. Let me answer a few questions now. Let's see what people are talking about. Is adding a relevant video to the article a consequence in the rankings? Well, as far as I know, right now, video count as rich embeds, and they might help rankings in a different way, but it won't improve the relevance of your article. So when you're doing optimization using the on-page tool, It'll help with the alt text. So let's say you have an image and you have an alt text and there's alt text there, that could help. But if you have an image embed, or the AI is looking at the text, it's not looking at what the video is to increase relevance. So hopefully, maybe it will in the future, and then we could add that as well. But for now, that is going to be that's where we're at. Dave says they're dipping his toes with G stacks. Okay, that's good. If you whatever in terms of like stacking, what I usually figure out is I do tier linking. So tier 1, tier 2, and I always try to go relevant links to relevant links. And so far, I've actually been able to outrank really major websites with hundreds of links. You're like, it's crazy the stuff that you do something with this. Sometimes you'll be up against a website that has 100 links, but like if you run their links through link relevancy, you could also do this, by the way. This is another thing that I didn't even talk about, but you could run your competitors' links through link relevancy, and you can see how many relevant backlinks they have, and you could get their best backlinks. So let's say these guys are my competitors, and I say, okay, cool. Where do I, these are my competitors. I want to get links from that they're getting. I just do this. I sort even by domain, and I say, okay, well, these are their best domain, or these are their best backlinks. Let me try to get better backlinks from these places as well. And when you look at this, when you look at the competitors this way, you can say, okay, if I want to outrank them, I don't need 100 links. I only need, like 6. I need one more than them. So they have 5 relevant backlinks, fully relevant backlinks. Let me get 6 fully relevant backlinks and see what happens. And most of the time, you'll be really surprised. So that's kind of like the new way that I'm looking at backlink and competitors if I'm really diving in. Cool. Oh, by the way, this is crazy. Yes, Dango mentions this is super easy. So everyone should do that if you use press releases. That's actually that's another use of this. I didn't have time to cover it, but you could also optimize press releases for the category. So before you are using the on-page tool, and before you put out the press release, put the press release within predictive guest post, and you'll be able to see what category it lands in your press release is going to land in before you publish it. Because once you publish a press release, it's out there. You can't go in and edit a press release after it's been published. So you want to make sure you're in the right category first, and that's going to give you the most benefit. So use predictive guest post before you publish your press release. That could really help you. And I see a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, the new editor is amazing." Yes, thank you, I appreciate it. We put a whole bunch of effort into new. I've been working on this for months now. Okay, what is it? How can we? All right, because Daniel asked, how can we remove irrelevant words you don't want the writer to use? If you're in the brief and outline, let me load something. Let me go in content editor. Let's say you're here, and your content editor, we're basically writing something. Let's say you're writing an article and you don't want your writer to mentions Google Search Console for whatever reason, then just write it in the brief. Write it in the brief, write do not use, and then put the words in Search Console, whatever. That's going to be the best way. And one of the things that we made easier is you could adjust this to any size you want. So you can resize the whole thing around to make it easier to write for your writers and all that. And then just put all the notes that you want in brief, and then your writers will see it. All right, cool. Simon says Eric needs to drink less caffeine. Yeah, man, I agree. I'm pretty hyped here. This is one of those days. Like, I got to pick my right days where I'm like, oh, I want to have like a call right now. This is why I do kind of these impromptus. I just really want to feel it, and I'm really happy today just to share with all this stuff with you guys. So thank you. What else? We got. You went really fast. Can I give you access to recordings, please? Yes, I could give you. Hopefully, I'm trying to record this, but hopefully we'll have access to recordings. And sorry if I went fast. I'm trying to cover as much stuff as I can. If anything, I might have follow-ups where I do deep dives. So I'll go deep dive into content editor, deep dive into this. But what I recommend, the best thing to do is try it first. If you're not trying it already, if you haven't signed up for On-Page yet, sign up for On-Page. At least get yourself a starter account, lock in your price, and then once you start using it, I did everything so it's as easy as possible. I tried to make absolutely everything as intuitive as possible. I do hundreds of hours of testing just to make everything super, super easy. Like I changed things like this used to be called entities, and now it's called word recommendations. We have the relevance score where you just, your graph just needs to be higher. So I'm trying to make absolutely everything as user-friendly, the least amount of confusing things as possible. So that's kind of like, yeah, that's where I'm at. So Sherman asks, can we exclude, okay, Dave asked, can we exclude URLs from brief and outline? Right now, you cannot. Right now, brief and outline, we are presenting as much data as we can. So let's say you go, oh, this one's really cool. Vitamin C benefits. I didn't even show you, but I've been using this like crazy, guys. I have all my writers, I'm sending them outlines left and right with this. And vitamin C, let's say you have a whole bunch of options here. You have the whole search landscape of vitamin C benefits. Then let's say you're clicking around, and let's say you don't like Healthline. Right now, you can't remove Healthline. But in the future, what we're going to be doing, we might have additional things that we're developing for brief and outlines. I've had so many ideas. I just don't have enough hours in a day where right now, just tell a writer not to use it or so. But like things like if I'm doing vitamin C benefits, and one of the coolest things, you click on stats, you get all these statistics about vitamin C that you could just literally just click on it, and it says, cool. And you have your Harvard quote right here. And then here you have another quote. So here you have a Healthline quote. You just basically have all these quotes within seconds for your topic. So let's say you want to be authoritative, you want to have references, you want to have quotes. These are all statistics about vitamin C. It's absolutely crazy. All right, cool. Let me move on with the questions. Is there some version of Copyscape available like Grammarly has? No, we don't have Copyscape just yet. That's actually a really good suggestion. And I actually might build it into the content editor. But right now, I just haven't. I didn't even think of that. That's actually a really good idea. Like, cool. How do I sign up for this, Eric? If you want, you go to OnPage.ai. That is OnPage.ai. And when you go to OnPage.ai, you click Get Started right now. It's going to take 2 seconds. You basically create an account, then you click on Activate Account. Then when you click on Activate Account, you'll be able to lock in whatever plan you want, and then you're in. Then you're in. It's really that simple. All right. In a future update, can we get the numbers in the optimization tab? Get important metrics? Yes, we might. I have to, as I mentioned, Chris, I'm trying to make everything as easy and simple as possible. As like, I'm really trying to make it so no one so you don't need to know SEO to start using it. That's one of the benefits, or one of the things I wanted to do from ground up, is if you're an SEO expert, you basically log in, you start using it, and you already know how to use it. There's no learning curve. Like, I've used tools. I've been doing SEO for, I'm sure like a lot of you have been doing SEO for over a decade, and I've been doing SEO for over a decade, and I've logged into some tools and I've been confused. So that's why when I created On-Page, I wanted SEOs or just people to be able to jump in, and you don't need to watch videos. You don't need to read instructions. You don't need to know anything. You just click around and you're going to figure it out. So that's why I'm trying to make everything like as simple as possible. But in the back end, like, we have a hell of a lot of technology going in to do things like specific category words is not a simple task to be able to figure those out properly. And things like the main content extractor. So we scan things like Google. We use Google. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff that goes in the back end. The back end is kind of really complex, and it's kind of, there's a lot of stuff going in. There's a lot of algorithms that I wrote in the back end that you just get to benefit. You just get the answer in the front end. All right. Cool. Is the content editor unlimited? Yes, the content editor is unlimited. Look, I'm literally giving so much away, man. It's crazy. If we look at the amount of stuff that we give away, let me go back here. Like, you're getting, if you check the competitors, you get 200 scans here per month. That's with the lowest plan. And if you have an agency, you might want to take the big agency, 600 scans per month. In terms of link relevancy stuff, 1,000 per month. Topical keywords, you get 60 a month. With the lowest plan, you get unlimited briefs. You just use briefs, create briefs for every single piece of content you want. Now, of course, I'm reserving the right to have fail safe if someone starts to like having a bot or something. We do have fail safes. There's no abuse. But right now, you could do a scan and it doesn't use any of your credits. You do as many briefs as you want. And content editor, you just share all this stuff with your content editors. You have all, a team of writers. You can have 20 writers writing at once, and that's no problem. So this is really giving so much away compared to all these other people that charge you per seat and all that stuff. It's insane. Cool. And yeah, everyone knows you here. So cool. So thank you guys. I got to turn off my bot. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. One thing is I might have an encore, I might have follow-up. Share this with other people if ever you think they're going to find any use for it. I really want to make this instructive. I want to help people do better SEO. I want to help people rank better with less effort. I want people to not have to go all over the place and, kind of guess around. So that's why we're really trying to give you the exact words you need. We're trying to give you the exact links you need. We're trying to give you, the briefs, exact outlines that you need, everything that you need to do better SEO. So it's not just about adding words and calling it a day. We're really trying to cover the whole spectrum of SEO here. So if you need to rank a client in a competitive industry, the On-Page.ai will be for you. So thank you, Dan. Says the UI is great. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for attending. I will follow up with you guys, or just if you have any questions, you could always ask me. And we're actually pushing out more updates. We're always keeping up the On-Page up to date. We have other things that are in the works, other things in my brain. I just can't get enough stuff out fast enough. But right now, as I mentioned, every time we release new big features, the price does increase in On-Page. And if you are on the fence, I recommend jump on it now, secure your price, get one of these plans, because as we add more features and develop more, it's you're gonna get a really good price. All right, cool. I appreciate everyone. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day, and yeah, take care. Thank you for attending. Ciao.